Southeast Asia lies a land where the climate is divided by a mountain range. The north shaped by harsh cold seasons, while the south is filled with golden sunlight and sudden tropical rains. Creating a diversity in lifestyle, perspective, and the very way people live. This contrast breathes life into one of the most intricate and diverse culinary cultures in the world, where good food can be found at any hour in cities that never seem to sleep. From above, the landscape reveals its richness. Vast plains, towering mountains draped in terraced fields, where golden rice glows beneath drifting clouds. To the right, endless blue sea. To the left, deep untamed forests. And despite 1,000 years under Chinese rule and a devastating war with the United States, Vietnam has preserved its identity and continues to strengthen its place in the region and the world. And welcome to another episode of Unveiling Nations. Vietnam, 4,000 years of culture and growth. Vietnam is a nation where deep-rooted traditions meet the vibrant pulse of modern life. Its people are known for their hospitality, resilience, and a cultural identity shaped by centuries of history. Stretching from the north through the central region to the south, Vietnam is a harmonious landscape of mountains, deltas, coastlines, and distinct cultural identities across its regions. With a stable political system and a consistent development trajectory, the country has maintained resilience, driven growth, and sustained the rhythm of life for more than 100 million people. With a rapidly growing economy, the nation is steadily strengthening its position in Southeast Asia. And in this journey, we will explore the people, history, culture, and many more factors that shape Vietnam. To understand Vietnam, we must begin with its culture and the values they have carried through generations. Vietnamese culture is the result of more than 4,000 years of history. Through every challenge, the Vietnamese people have preserved their unique identity, deeply traditional yet remarkably adaptable. Vietnamese people value family, community, and harmony principles deeply woven into daily life. Modesty, respect, and the idea of honoring elders are reflected in how they speak and interact. Their culture of greeting, offering, and hospitality makes visitors feel genuinely welcomed. Influences from Confucianism, Buddhism, and folk beliefs shape long-standing values that guide behavior and lifestyle. In Vietnamese households, traditions and ancestral memories are preserved through rituals, shared meals, and oral stories. And it is this blend of enduring roots and modern rhythm that forms Vietnam's unique cultural identity. If culture is the soul of Vietnam, then its people are the ones who breathe warmth, rhythm, and an unmistakable identity into that soul. Vietnam today is home to around 101 to 102 million people, forming a large and diverse population. Among them, more than 85% are ethnic kin, while millions from over 50 minority groups add remarkable diversity. Vietnamese people are known for their community spirit, neighborly bonds, and an age-old mindset of sharing and living together. They are deeply hospitable, often offering a meal or a cup of tea even to someone they've just met. Even as society evolves rapidly, Vietnamese people preserve traditions of respecting elders and placing family at the center of life. Around 41.4% of Vietnam's population live in urban areas, showing a powerful shift from rural to urban life. Rapidly transforming lifestyles, culture, and social dynamics. From hard-working farmers to the modern ambitious youth, they share a quiet resilience in the face of challenges. Vietnam has a large young population, with around 68% of its people in the working age group, shaping a dynamic, adaptable society with strong growth potential. And this warmth, resilience, and humanity have carried Vietnam through wars, disasters, and countless trials of history. A people who endure, who rise, and who always find a way to smile, no matter how harsh life becomes. And to understand Vietnam today, we look back at a historical journey spanning centuries from founding, domination, resistance, to reunification. Vietnam's history does not begin with modern borders, but with the Vân Long U Lac civilization over 4,000 years ago, where early societies mastered rice cultivation, bronze casting, and social order along fertile river systems. Beginning with the Hung kings and the first civilization on the Red River Basin, the Vietnamese laid the foundation of their nation. Then came more than 1,000 years of northern domination, an era when imperial Chinese dynasties sought to impose their rule, reshape culture, and suppress identity. Yet it was within that long crucible of struggle that the Vietnamese spirit was forged, enduring like a flame that could never be extinguished. From the 10th century onward, Vietnam endured as an independent nation, passing through dynasties, wars, and upheavals for over 1,000 years, without losing its cultural core. In the year 1010, under the Lý dynasty, Thang Long was chosen as the capital, ushering a new era for Dai Viet civilization. By the 13th century, under the Tran dynasty, Viêt Nam repelled the Mongol Yuan invasions, 3 times immortalized by the decisive Battle of Bac Dang in 1288. After centuries of upheaval, the country fell under colonial rule, leading to the anti-French resistance in the early 20th century. Under the leadership of President Ho Chi Minh, and with resilience, perseverance, and unwavering spirit of the people, Vietnam declared full independence on September 2nd, 1945, marking the beginning of a new era for a sovereign nation after millennia of struggle. Victory against the French paved the way for a modern nation. Yet soon, Vietnam faced the war against the United States, fighting for freedom and reunification. History is more than a record of what came before it. Brings us to the moment where power, ideology, and political vision begin shaping the destiny of modern Vietnam. Communist Party of Vietnam is the sole ruling party in Vietnam, holding comprehensive leadership over the state and society. Modern Vietnam's ideological foundation rests on Marxism-Leninism, allied with Ho Chi Minh, thought the guiding compass for all policies and directions. After the 1986 reforms, Vietnam shifted from a centrally planned economy to a socialist-oriented market economy, opening up, integrating globally, and boosting growth. In the period from 1990 to 2000, Vietnam's GDP nearly quintupled, rising from about 6.5 billion US dollars to approximately 31.2 billion US dollars. While per capita income increased from around 95 US dollars to roughly 390 US dollars. The government functions through a centralized political system, with the National Assembly as the legislative branch, the government and Prime Minister overseeing the executive, and the Supreme Court leading the judiciary, all under the unified orientation of the Communist Party of Vietnam. Remarkably, despite being a socialist country, Vietnam has simultaneously become a comprehensive strategic or major strategic partner to the United States, China, Russia, and the United Kingdom powers with vastly different interests and political systems. And this is something almost no other socialist nation has achieved: maintaining balance, earning trust, and sustaining deep partnerships with major powers that often stand on opposing sides. Modern Vietnamese politics emphasizes stability and development, prioritizing institutional reforms, state governance modernization, investment attraction, and economic growth to improve living standards. And within traditions, we find the soul of the nation, where the image of a resting dragon becomes a symbol of resilience, dignity, and quiet strength. Vietnam has nearly 8,000 traditional festivals, each one echoing like a breath of the 1,000-years-old dragon still resonating in modern life. Among them, more than 7,000 are folk festivals, accounting for over 88%, showing that cultural roots continue flowing through villages like a dormant energy beneath the layers of time. As of 2025, Vietnam holds 16 intangible cultural heritages recognized by UNESCO vibrant fragments of the ancient dragon, From Central Highlands gong culture to Joan singing, Bai Choi and Don Ka Tai Tu. Customs such as ancestor worship, Lunar New Year traditions, and the etiquette of honoring elders are ways the Vietnamese preserve the dragon's spirit. Respect, gratitude, and communal harmony. And even as society changes, these traditions quietly uphold Vietnamese identity like a sleeping dragon that never truly loses its power. That is why every festival, ritual, or folk melody is not just culture, but a call from the past, awakening the pride that rests deep within every Vietnamese person. The traditions that have shaped Vietnam across generations come to life most vividly in its festivals. Moments when an entire nation moves together in a shared rhythm. Tet Nguyên Dan, held at the end of the 12th lunar month or the beginning of the 1st, is the moment when the entire nation pauses. Families prepare ancestral offerings, decorate their homes, give lucky money, and welcome the new year with fireworks and drifting incense. On the 10th day of the 3rd lunar month, tens of thousands travel to the Hung King's temple for ancestral rites, featuring palanquin processions, incense offerings, and ceremonial readings, reminding every Vietnamese person that they are descendants of the dragon and fairy. The Mid-Autumn Festival, on the 15th day of the 8th lunar month, is a celebration for children and a moment of reunion. Lanterns brighten the streets, lion dances echo through alleys, and families gather over mooncakes under the full moon. Vietnamese Women's Day, on the 20th of October, honors mothers, sisters, and women in all walks of life. From the household to the community, celebrated with flowers, small gifts, and heartfelt appreciation. Vietnam Teachers' Day on the 20th of November carries a different tone. Students return to visit former teachers, bringing flowers, handwritten letters, and gratitude for those who shaped their learning. These festivals, from ancient to modern, do more than mark the calendar. They nurture community bonds and form a distinct part of the Vietnamese spiritual identity. Vietnam, where cuisine becomes an identity, shaped by diverse climates, cultural exchanges, and daily traditions across its regions. Pho, the most iconic Vietnamese dish, is simmered for hours with roasted ginger, cinnamon, and star anise. More than a breakfast, it is a taste of memory for Vietnamese abroad, and the first dish many travelers seek upon arriving. Hanoi's bun cha captivates, with the aroma of charcoal grilled pork, balanced dipping sauce, and fragrant herbs. It gained global attention when US President Barack Obama enjoyed it in 2016, pushing bun cha into the spotlight of Hanoi street cuisine. Banh quan, delicate and refined, requires the cook to steam rice batter into sheets so thin they are nearly transparent. The rising steam carries a subtle rice aroma, while the pork and mushroom filling provides a soft, clean flavor. Vietnamese banh mi, praised by international magazines, is a prime example of how Vietnam turns foreign influence into something uniquely local. Its crispy crust, soft interior, pâté, meats, herbs, and pickles form a fast but flavor-packed meal. Bun Dao Mam Tom carries bold, unmistakable flavors. Whipped shrimp paste with lime and chili, crispy fried tofu, cool rice noodles, and aromatic green rice pork cake. It is a love or hate dish, but unforgettable to those who adore it. These dishes, from morning pho to quick banh mi, or the intensely flavored bun dao, reflect a Vietnamese philosophy: harmony of freshness, aroma, and balance, and the ability to transform humble ingredients into remarkable culinary experiences. Vietnam lies on the eastern edge of the Indochina Peninsula. Stretching in an shaped arc from about 8 degrees north to over 23 degrees north, spanning nearly 1,650 kilometers from north to south. The country's total area is roughly 331,212 square kilometers, encompassing a wide diversity of mountains, plains, seas, and coastal zones. Vietnam's coastline stretches approximately 3,444 kilometers, supporting strong fisheries, seaports, and international maritime trade. Hills, mountains, and highlands cover nearly 75% of the territory, with its highest peak, Phan Xipang, rising 3,144 meters in the northwest. The two major deltas, the Red River Delta in the north and the Mekong Delta in the south, are fertile alluvial regions, densely populated and vital to national agriculture. Its dense river network supports agriculture and transportation, yet also makes many regions vulnerable to flooding, saltwater intrusion, and rising sea levels. This varied terrain, from high mountains to dense jungles and low plains, once offered major advantages for guerrilla warfare, enabling Vietnamese forces to maneuver quickly and remain concealed. Mountain ranges, thick forests, and natural trails along the Trong Son Range created significant challenges for U.S. troops, particularly in mechanized deployment and territorial control. The tropical monsoon climate with heavy rains, high humidity, and fast-growing vegetation reduced visibility, damaged equipment, and hindered many military operations. Together, these elements form a Vietnam that is both beautiful and complex. A land where nature has always shaped its history, livelihood, and identity. Emerging from those mountains, deltas, and long coastlines, Vietnam's climate becomes the key force, shaping how its people live, farm, and adapt through time. Vietnam lies within a tropical monsoon climate zone, with average annual temperatures ranging from 22 to 27 degrees Celsius, creating ideal conditions for vegetation and agriculture. Annual rainfall typically reaches 1,500 to 2,000 millimeters, though some mountainous and coastal regions exceed 3,000 millimeters. making the rainy season a defining rhythm of daily life. Because the country stretches more than 1,600 kilometers from north to south, the climate varies significantly. The north experiences 4 seasons, while the central and southern regions revolve around rainy and dry periods. Central Vietnam is heavily impacted by typhoons from the East Sea, often facing intense rainfall, flash floods, and landslides toward the end of the year. Meanwhile, the Mekong Delta faces increasingly severe saltwater intrusion, driven by rising sea levels and declining upstream flow from the Mekong River. High humidity paired with heavy rainfall fosters rich ecosystems, yet poses challenges for infrastructure, transportation, and agricultural stability. The tropical climate also played a strategic role in history. As monsoon rains, humidity, and dense vegetation significantly hindered military operations in the 20th century. Together, these elements create a climate that is both demanding and full of potential, where Vietnamese communities continue to adapt, innovate, and work with nature sustainably. With climate and geography forming the foundation, Vietnam's economy turns these conditions into momentum for growth, integration, and progress. Vietnam's gross domestic product in 2024 reached roughly $476.39 billion, placing it among Southeast Asia's major economies. Economic growth remains steady, with real GDP rising around 7 to 8% annually and hitting 7.09% in 2024. Foreign direct investment continues to be a major driver, supported by a young workforce, competitive costs, and an increasingly improving business environment. The manufacturing sector, especially electronics, textiles, and wood processing, generates millions of jobs and positions. Vietnam is a rising hub in global supply chains. Strong export expansion, together with accelerated public investment, helps stabilize the macroeconomy and strengthens the foundation for long-term development. A young demographic structure and abundant labor supply offer a clear competitive edge, drawing more global corporations to shift production into Vietnam. Still, to sustain its growth momentum, Vietnam must continue improving productivity, strengthening infrastructure, and addressing environmental challenges in a rapidly modernizing economy. Together, these factors build an economy that is dynamic, adaptive, and increasingly influential within the region and global value chains. As the economy accelerates, Vietnam has entered a phase of heavy infrastructure investment to expand connectivity and improve quality of life. The national road network stretches over 595,000 kilometers, linking northern highlands with lowland regions and major cities, forming vital transport arteries for goods and people. More than 2,600 kilometers of expressways are now in operation, with a target of 5,000 kilometers in the coming years, moving Vietnam closer to infrastructure standards of more advanced regional economies. The seaport system includes over 45 ports, several of which are deep-water hubs capable of handling large vessels, making Vietnam a significant regional trade gateway. A rapidly expanding aviation sector, with 22 airports in operation, serves over 100 million passengers annually, reflecting surging travel and tourism demand. Major cities like Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City are developing metro systems to ease congestion and modernize public transportation. Vietnam is also investing heavily in renewable energy, especially wind and solar, to meet rising electricity demand and transition toward a greener economy. Alongside rapid expansion, challenges remain. Fast urbanization, congestion, flooding, and regional disparities demand smarter planning and sustained investment. Despite ongoing challenges, Vietnam's infrastructure is entering a transformative era, paving the way for greater economic growth, global integration, and a more modern future. From the stories of geography and infrastructure, the journey now leads us to the heart of the nation. Hanoi. Hanoi is a capital with over 1,000 years of history. Established during the Lý dynasty as Thang Long, the rising dragon, a symbol of prosperity and Vietnamese intellect. The city sits along the Red River, where layers of culture, dynasties, and trade have shaped an urban space both ancient and vibrantly alive. The Old Quarter, with roughly 36 traditional guild streets, preserves its historic layout where each street was once dedicated to a specific craft. Hoan Kiem Lake stands as the city's spiritual landmark, a place where locals gather at dawn to exercise, read, or simply watch the water shift with time. Hanoi's rhythm blends past and present. Bustling old streets, quiet French quarters, and fast-growing commercial and financial districts. Hanoi's cuisine shapes its distinct identity, with dishes like pho, bun cha, and banh quan, celebrated nationally and recognized worldwide. The city is also Vietnam's leading center of education and governance, home to major universities, research institutes, and government institutions. Hanoi, in its own quiet way, manages to remain peaceful amid urban pace, a place where tradition doesn't fade, but blends into modern life. If Hanoi embodies historical depth, the journey now brings us to Vietnam's most modern pulse, Ho Chi Minh City. With a population exceeding 9 million people, the city is Vietnam's most populous metropolis and a major economic commercial hub in the region. Since its days as Saigon, it has served as the southern gateway of trade, linking Vietnam to the world through its seaports, airports, and major transport corridors. Life here moves fast, energetic, and open qualities that shape a financial hub where thousands of domestic and international companies operate daily. District 1, with its skyscrapers, walking boulevards, museums, and French-era buildings, forms a space where heritage and modernity coexist. The city is also a culinary landmark. From Cam, Tam, and Hu Tu to Banh Mi, each dish reflecting the southern spirit of openness and creativity. Infrastructure is expanding rapidly, with metro lines, ring roads, and new urban districts rising to match one of the fastest urbanization rates in the nation. Despite its bustling pace, Saigon keeps a rare warmth where strangers help each other as if they had always been friends. Ho Chi Minh City reaches for the future while carrying echoes of its past, forming a metropolis that is modern yet rich with memory. Stepping beyond the major cities, the travel journey through Vietnam unfolds into landscapes where each region carries its own beauty and emotion. In the north, misty valleys of Sapa, the terraced fields of Hoang Su Phai, and winding mountain passes immerse travelers in a world both majestic and serene. Ha Long, with its unparalleled limestone formations, stands as one of the world's most iconic natural wonders. Along the central coast, Da Nang's turquoise beaches, the ancient charm of Hoi An, and the imperial calm of Hue create a journey rich in culture and heritage. Moving southward, travelers encounter the dynamism of Saigon before drifting into the Mekong Delta, a world shaped by rivers, orchards, and unhurried living. Vietnam is also known for adventure. Trekking Mount Phan Xipang, exploring Sun Dong, or traversing the Trong Son trails, where challenges meet breathtaking scenery. Whether at the coast, in the mountains, or inside small villages, what endures most is the warmth and hospitality of the Vietnamese people. Traveling through Vietnam isn't just moving from place to place. It's experiencing a nation evolving each day, while preserving the soul that defines it. As the journey leaves familiar roads and turns toward the open sea, Vietnam reveals Ha Long, where nature steps forward as the main character. Ha Long Bay contains over 1,600 limestone islands. Spanning 1,553 square kilometers, forming a natural labyrinth at sea. These formations were shaped over more than 500 million years, far older than any human civilization. Ha Long impresses not through violence, but through monumental stillness, where stone and water coexist. Beneath the surface lies a rich ecosystem. Home to over 200 fish species and coral reefs. The bay also preserves human traces dating back more than 18,000 years, linking nature and human memory. Ha Long is therefore not just scenery, but a cross-section of Earth's deep time. If Ha Long is where nature rises from the sea, then leaving those waters, Vietnam draws us down into the earth toward Phong Nha Ke Bang. Phong Nha Ke Bang, formed over more than 400 million years, becoming one of Asia's oldest karst regions. The region contains over 300 caves, including the largest caves on Earth. Here, light gradually disappears and depth replaces the horizon. Phong Nha does not reveal beauty instantly, but forces humans to slow down and adapt. Every step becomes a dialogue with a primordial Earth, never domesticated. This place makes humanity confront its own limits. Phong Nha Ke Bang is Vietnam's silent depth. Leaving the darkness behind, the journey ascends again as Vietnam appears in Sapa, where people live among clouds. Sapa sits at 1,600 meters, where climate and terrain sharply diverge from the lowlands. It is surrounded by the Hoang Lien Range, crowned by Phan Xipang at 3,143 meters, the roof of Indochina. The terraced fields here were shaped through centuries of survival. More than 6 ethnic minorities coexist, preserving distinct languages and customs. Sapa constantly shifts. Mist, sun, and rain can appear within a single day. This land forces humanity to slow down and remain humble. Sapa is Vietnam at the altitude of fragility. From cloud-bound mountains, the journey flows down the country as Vietnam reveals Da Nang, where terrain, people, and modern rhythm converge by the sea. Da Nang occupies a rare position, where the Han River cuts through the city before meeting the sea, forming a spatial axis both open and profound. The city holds over 90 kilometers of coastline. Yet what defines it is how urban growth runs alongside the shore, rather than turning its back on it. Da Nang carries little antiquity, but constant motion, where bridges, roads, and light reflect a Viêt Nam in rapid transformation. Behind the city lies Sun Tra Peninsula, where primary forest and deep sea survive beside human life. The presence of the red-shanked Duc Langur here reminds us that development and conservation need not be mutually exclusive. Da Nang does not tell a story of the past, but of a present still being written. This city is a living experiment in Vietnam's urban future. Leaving behind Da Nang's modern rhythm, the journey slows as we enter a place where time seems to move differently. Hoi An was once a thriving trading port where merchants from Japan, China, and the West converged, leaving lasting imprints. Narrow streets, moss-covered roofs, and faded yellow walls form a rare portrait of preserved antiquity. Hoi An's spaces are shaped by ancient houses, wooden structures, and quiet facades, where every architectural detail carries traces of centuries of cultural exchange. As night falls, lanterns illuminate the streets, turning Hoi An into a space that feels both romantic and serene. Life here unfolds at a gentle pace, from riverside tea stalls to street vendors, inviting people to slow down. Hoi An's cuisine reflects its local identity, offering simple yet refined dishes rooted in everyday life. Hoi An is not just a destination. It is a place where memory, history, and an older rhythm of life still endure. As the coastline stretches southward, the journey slows as Vietnam reveals Nha Trang, where the ocean is no longer a horizon, but a depth. Nha Trang rests along one of the world's most beautiful natural bays, where warm, clear waters persist year-round. The city is encircled by more than 19 islands, forming a natural protective system for the waters within. Beneath these waters lie coral reefs, seagrass beds, and plankton, forming the base of a complex web of life. Nha Trang does not merely depend on the sea, it studies it, serving as Vietnam's leading marine research center. At the Institute of Oceanography, Over 20,000 marine specimens are preserved as the biological memory of the ocean. The sea here is livelihood, knowledge, and urban identity combined. Nha Trang reveals the deep bond between humanity and the ocean. Leaving the ocean and moving inland, the journey changes tone as Viêt Nam reveals the Central Highlands, where land, not water, governs life. The Central Highlands were shaped by ancient volcanic lava, creating mineral-rich red basalt soil. The foundation of life in the region. This soil has helped make Viêt Nam the world's second-largest coffee exporter, producing millions of tons annually. Yet Central Highlands coffee is not only economic. It is the daily rhythm of communities. This is the living space of many indigenous groups, where land, forest, and people are inseparable. Gong culture, recognized by UNESCO, turns sound into collective memory. In the Central Highlands, history is not written, but carried through rhythm. The Central Highlands are the deepest cultural sediment of modern Vietnam. Stepping away from familiar travel routes, Vietnam reveals a wilderness far richer than most expect. Vietnam's wildlife includes over 11,400 species of higher plants, along with thousands of animal species, making it one of Southeast Asia's major biodiversity hotspots. Cuc Phuong National Park alone has recorded around 97 mammal species and more than 300 bird species, showcasing the remarkable richness of Vietnam's forest ecosystems. From the Truong Sun Range to the Central Highlands, many rare species exist only in Vietnam, such as the saola, the Asian unicorn, one of the rarest mammals ever discovered. Recent conservation programs have received 18 rare wildlife individuals for rescue and rehabilitation, reflecting strong national efforts in wildlife protection. The Mekong Delta and mangrove regions form habitats for freshwater crocodiles, water birds, and numerous aquatic species adapted to semi-flooded ecosystems. In the north, cool, dense forests support the survival of primates. Endemic bird species and plants found only in these mountain ranges. This wilderness lives alongside modern life, reminding us of the value of nature and the responsibility to protect a world growing ever more fragile. Each step into Vietnam's wild spaces offers more than wildlife sightings. It opens a window into the country's untouched soul. As we delve deeper into the nation's identity, Vietnam reveals landmarks that are more than destinations. They are chapters of its history, culture, and spirit. The Trang, and complex in Ninh Bình, with winding waterways and towering karst formations, stands as a rare mixed cultural natural heritage site preserved in pristine form. Nearby lies Bai Din Pagoda, a monumental Buddhist complex where sweeping roofs and long corridors evoke both serenity and grandeur. In central Hanoi, the Temple of Literature stands as a symbol of ancient scholarship, where knowledge and philosophy were nurtured across dynasties. The imperial citadel of Thang Long, layered with relics spanning millennia, is living evidence of Vietnam's enduring historical legacy. In Quang Binh, colossal cave systems like Sun Dong and Hang An unveil vast subterranean worlds that leave visitors in awe. In Ninh Thuan, ancient Cham towers rise against sun and wind, reminding us of a once flourishing civilization. Off the coast, Ly Son Island, shaped by volcanic craters and basalt cliffs, offers a landscape unlike anywhere else in Vietnam. In the far north, the Lung Cu flag tower rises atop a rugged peak, marking the symbolic meeting point of land and sky, a source of deep national pride. After 4,000 years of history and culture, Vietnam continues to evolve, yet never loses the soul that has carried its people through millennia. It is this blend of enduring tradition and modern ambition that makes the country unique, powerful yet gentle, evolving yet unmistakably itself. Vietnam feels both familiar and mysterious. Every place reveals a new chapter in a story thousands of years long. Whether among mountains, along the coast, or in its cities, you sense living layers of time, making Vietnam an experience rather than just a destination. The journey you've just followed only grazes the surface of a story far greater in scale. If you enjoyed this journey, like and subscribe to explore more of Vietnam and the world.